Gaudy stats. Good God, that's gaudy. Welcome to Gaudy Stats
with Ben Simmons.
What's on the menu, Benny boy?
We haven't always had three-pointers, have we? 1979, 1980, that's the season when the NBA, after testing it previously, decided to go for it. Oh, and you would think that the guys would just be lining up, take that three. But, it took a really long time for it to become a staple in a shooter's diet. Kind of like some rice or some noodles or some mashed potatoes, some taters. Yeah, boy, that three-point shot. But it's crazy, right? There's a lot of myths about three-point shooting, like Larry Bird. Oh, Larry Bird was the greatest. He was the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Oh, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller was the greatest. He was the greatest, I tell you. What's that accent? I have no idea. Jason Capono. Woo! Woo! Michael Finley. Michael Finley was a good three-point shooter. And please, don't get me wrong here, okay? I love Larry Bird. The legend, Larry Legend. I love him, okay? Almost as much as I love some hot tea on a cold day. Oh, it's hot. That's what happens when you inhale tea. My God. But we're going to dig into the numbers, the percentages here, and we're going to focus on who I think is the greatest three-point shooter of all time. And I'm not the only one. No. I mean, most modern fans might agree with me. Now, I'm talking about the one, the only, Stephen Golden Boy Curry, a.k.a. the baby-faced assassin, a.k.a. what else do they call him? Chef Curry with the shot. He can shoot it now. Oh, can he really? Can Steph Curry shoot the ball, Simmons? Is he a good shooter?
Yeah, I think so. He's pretty good. He can shoot the ball, yeah.
Captain Obvious over here. But, no, I really think he is the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Look at the stats, people. We're all about the stats. This is Gaudy Stats Podcast. We're all about the stats. And I've looked at the stats, okay? I've examined them, all right? Not like a statistician, but as an average Joe, okay? A simple-minded boy from Kentucky. That's all I am. But, he's the greatest. IMO. He's the greatest. Some of you Steve Kerr purists out there are going to be like, hold on a second there. And we'll get to Steve Kerr, okay? He could shoot in a different era, I mean, he was kind of just a three-point specialist, But we'll get to him. We'll get to Kyle Korver, okay? We'll get to Reggie. Okay, we'll get to, of course, as I mentioned, the legend, Larry Legend. But, we're going to do this in the spirit of this podcast, which is substantial in its own right. On the side, how about a little basmati rice, yeah? With some viscousy, savory, spicy chicken curry on top. Oh, I'm getting so hungry, and I just ate, folks. I just ate. I'm getting hungry again. Don't you like that chicken curry when it's piping hot? And you're at a buffet, and you just you just keep slopping it on your plate, or the waiter brings it to you and said, "Here you go, sir." You look them in the eye, and you almost cry, because you know it's gonna be delicious. God, I'm getting hungry. What's wrong with me, man? What's wrong with me? You ever had an avocado with chicken curry? All right, that's kind of weird. You ever had a chicken curry burrito? Oh man. I might have to just pause this podcast and get some food. No, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep powering through. All right. So let's just start the podcast. I forgot to mention him in the intro, but Ray Allen is usually one of the first guys that folks point to when they don't agree that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. Now, I understand there were great shooters in the past. Excuse me. Pistol Pete. Ever heard of him? Jerry West. McFly. Hello, McFly. Jerry West. Yes. They didn't have the three-point shot when he was in his prime. All right? What if they did? He could shoot. One of the purest shooters of all time, Jerry West. Pistol Pete Maravich, the man who averaged over 44 points a game as a college player. He only saw the benefits of the three-point line for one season. Okay, it looks like the 1979-80 season, his last season in the NBA, he played for Utah and Boston that season. He shot a total of 15 three-pointers in that season. He hit 10 of them. 66.7% on three-pointers for his career, which is kind of crazy. But, he would routinely pull up from behind the arc, way beyond the arc. The man had unlimited range. So, and also, yeah, Larry Bird. It wasn't in the offensive cards at the time to hoist, 10 three-pointers a game like Steph's doing nowadays. Bird was relegated, at the most, 3.5. Let's see, what was Larry Bird's highest? What season did he shoot the most three-pointers? Let's see. 3.3. That was the most three-pointers that he shot in a season. He hit 38.9% of his threes during that time. But let's get back to Steph, okay? Got to stay on topic here, all right? Got so many tabs open. It's kind of crazy. But has there ever been a volume shooter like Steph is who could shoot threes at such a high percentage? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. No, it's Steph. And there's been other guys who've shot a high percentage with volume. Ray Allen, the guy I mentioned earlier, he's the first one that comes to mind. So first, let's just look at Steph's career three-point percentage here, okay? His shooting percentage. 43.6 on 7.8 three-point attempts. The last 3 years, he shot over 10 three-pointers a game, okay? In those 3 years, 45.4%, 2015-16. The next year, 41.1. Then 42.4. Okay? Again, his career three-point shooting percentage right now is 43.6. Okay, now let's talk about Ray Allen, who's an amazing shooter. And he shot a lot of three-pointers too. I mean, he averaged 5.7 three-point attempts for his career. He hit 2.3 of them for an even 40.0% from the three-point line for his career. Ray Allen. So I don't know how anybody could say that Ray Allen's a better three-point shooter than Steph. You might just like Ray Allen a lot. You might be a former Supersonics fan, or a Milwaukee Bucks fan, or a Miami Heat fan, Boston Celtics fan. You might just be insanely in love with Ray Allen. Maybe you're obsessed with him. Maybe you have posters of him on your wall. Maybe you have a picture of him in every room of your house. Maybe you draw pictures of him in your own blood. All that's fine, but he's not a better shooter statistically than Steph Curry. Okay? On less attempts, he shoots a worse percentage than Steph Curry. Steph's at, what do we say? 7.8 attempts for his career, and he hits 3.4 of them. 43.6. Ray Allen, 5.7 attempts for his career. He averages 2.3 makes for 40%. So the stats don't lie. Okay? All right, now you might say, oh, he's more clutch, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about just three-point shooting percentage, okay? And I think if we really examine the two-pointers as well, you'd see the same thing. I think Steph is just a better shooter. He's a better pure shooter. He's a better volume shooter. He's a better three-point shooter. All right? All right? Now, Reggie Miller. Most people, he's actually more common than Ray Allen. Reggie Miller, because he was so clutch, and I get it, okay? Miller time. I know. Okay? The Nick Killer. Uncle Reg. Mighty Mouth. Killa. These are the names that they called this man. Okay, I think Uncle Reg might be from the Uncle Drew movie. Okay? I think that's a new one. But they did call him the Nick Killer because he killed Knicks. Literally, he would shoot them in the head. No, I'm joking. But no, on the court. Okay? He shut down Madison Square Garden on multiple occasions. Reggie Miller, a great player, an all-timer, a Hall of Famer. He deserves all the accolades. Okay? He does. But, well, he doesn't deserve all the accolades. He deserves a lot of them. But he's not the greatest three-point shooter of all time. And just like Ray Allen, okay? Ray Allen shot under 40% from three many times in his career. 1, 2, 3. These are years of his career, okay? His first 3 years in the league. 39.3. Okay, I get it. This is Ray Allen. Okay, 36.4, 35.6. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay, so that's 3 right there. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 12 years out of Ray Allen's career, he did not shoot over 40% from 3. Steph Curry has shot over 40% every year he's been in the league. (2009-10) 43.7. 2010-11 44.2. Then 45.5, 45.3, 42.4, 44.3, 45.4, 41.1, and 42.4 this year. Steph Curry has never shot under 40% from 3. Reggie Miller did so many a time as well, okay? Reggie Miller averaged 4.7 three-point attempts, and he made 1.8 of them for a career 39.5% from 3. He did not even average over 40% from 3. Now, you might be saying, excuse me, well, let's see what Steph Curry does at the end of his career, okay? Let's just see, okay? Are you willing to bet that Steph Curry, his three-point shooting is going to go down? Really? As he gets older, you think he's going to shoot worse from 3? Maybe. You could. I'm not going to predict the future. I'm talking about right now, okay? At this moment, Steph Curry has played how many seasons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons. Okay? That's a lot of seasons. It's enough of a body of work for us to measure him against all-time great shooters. That's what we're doing. That's the point of this podcast. And I don't think, based on what I've seen, that Reggie Miller is a better three-point shooter than Steph. How many seasons did he shoot below 40% from three? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 seasons he shot below 40%. Okay? His last year in the NBA, he shot 32.2% from three. Can you imagine Steph Curry shooting 32.2% from three? No. Listen, I'm not. Hold on a second. Hold on. I am not some crazy Steph Curry fanboy who's obsessed with Steph Curry. I am just appreciating the shooting that we are witnessing, this three-point shooting from deep, from beyond the arc, well beyond the arc sometimes. Okay? Folks, we are witnessing history here, in case you didn't know. Hey, breaking news. Steph Curry can shoot three-pointers. I'm breaking it. I'm going off on a limb. I'm saying he's the greatest of all time. I mean, a lot of people agree with me. Most people do. But I think a lot of people are like, no. Reggie Miller was better. They're not even looking at the stats. Oh, no, Ray Allen. Larry Bird. He was better. Larry Bird. Well, let's look at Larry Bird. Let's look at him. Okay? He's an interesting looking guy. Look at a picture of Larry Bird. While I'm talking about Larry Bird, I want you to bring up a picture of him on the internet and stare at his face while I give you some stats. Okay, just look at his face. Excuse me. Larry Bird was an amazing shooter. One of the greatest shooters of all time. He has a 50-40-90 season under his belt, which is rarefied air. And we'll get into that a little bit later here. When we talk about Steve Nash, did I say when we talk about? That was a Freudian slip, because you know how I feel about Steve Nash. When we talk about Steve Nash, when we talk about him, when we talk about Steve Nash, we'll get into some more 50-40-90 talk. But let's look at his percentages here from distance, from downtown. From downtown, as Marv Albert would say. It's not the best impression, but you know what? I'm working on it. Larry Bird shot an astonishing 1.9 three-pointers a game for his career, and he hit 0.7 of them. It was a different era. It's what we touched on with Adrian Dantley, who is an incredibly efficient scorer and a great shooter in his own right, but he shot like 41 threes his whole career. You know, Larry Bird shot 1,729 in his whole career. Do you want to know how many Steph Curry has shot? He's still shooting, my God. 4,872, and he's hit 2,126. All right? So he's hit more threes than Larry Bird even attempted. It's a different era. I get it. And you know, I do think Larry Bird, if it was emphasized more, would have shot a better percentage, and maybe we'd find out that maybe he is the greatest three-point shooter of all time. I doubt it, just based on the percentages that are in front of my face right now. Larry Bird in his first year in the NBA shot 40.6% from three. But then, folks, in his next two seasons, he shot 27% and 21.2%. Then 28.6, then 24.7, and then his shooting starting to get better. He shot over 40% his next 4 seasons. All right? But then, you know, his last 3 years in the league, 33.3, 38.9, and then 40.6 for a career average from three of 37.6. Listen, I'm looking at the stats, folks. Now, Larry Bird is the greatest. No, the stats don't mean a goddamn thing. Come here. No, Larry Bird. Larry. He's the greatest three-point shooter. He's not. He's not. It's a myth, folks. He was above average from three. I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, you're crying now. I'm sorry I made you cry, Larry Bird fanboy. Listen, I love Larry Bird. I do. He's an all-time great. I think he's actually underrated right now. We're going to do a Larry Bird pod. We're going to do it. Don't you worry. Now stop crying. He's still Larry Legend. Nothing can change that. I mean, was he even the greatest shooter of all time, though? Let's get real here. Maybe, possibly. Was Pistol Pete better? Was Jerry West better? And that's a harder one to do. We'll do a greatest shooter of all time podcast, but it's going to be hard. And it's going to be more opinion based because, a lot of the distance metrics and percentages weren't around back then. And so, was Jerry West better than Steph from 17 out or 10 out? Or was he a better finisher? Or all these different things. It's going to be tough. And it'll be more opinion based. But I'm trying to be factual here with the percentages, folks. And, Larry Bird had plenty of hand-in-your-face threes. Steph has had plenty. Of course Reggie has. Ray has for sure. No doubt. Now, you're probably like, well, Simmons, what are you, dumb? I'm looking at the three-point percentage leaderboard, and Mr. Steve Kerr, Coach Kerr of the Golden State Warriors, Steph's coach, he's number one. Simmons? So, what the fuck are you talking about, man? You'd be right. Yeah. You'd be right if you said that. But only problem is, buddy, is that Steve Kerr was a role player, and he wasn't a volume three-point shooter. The man averaged 1.8 three-point attempts per season on his career. Okay? He made 0.8 of them. Yes. He was an amazing three-point shooter, and maybe in a different era, he would have launched more, but he only hit the most three-pointers he averaged a season or 2.9. The man took a total of, 1,600 threes, 1,599, and he hit 726 of them. Okay? That seems like a lot, but that's for his whole career. Did I mention that Steph Curry has hit over 2,100 threes in his career, which is well over how many Steve Kerr has attempted? I'm going to give points for volume. I'm going to put Steph over Steve Kerr. Now, was Steve Kerr a master in his role-playing three-point specialist role? Yeah. But I'm going to give Steph Curry points and rise him above Steve Kerr based on the volume of threes he takes. He's in his 9th season. He shot 11.2 threes 3 years ago, 10.0 a year ago, and 10.1 threes a game his last 3 years, okay? Before that, in 2012-13, he shot 7.7, then 7.9, then 8.1, then 11.2, and then it goes on from what I said before. 7.8 threes a game. Okay? That's a lot. Now, so you're like, okay, if not Steve Kerr, then what about these other guys high up in the leaderboard, okay? Tim Legler. It's the same thing, folks. Tim Legler was a great three-point shooter. This is true. 44.7%. But he was a role player. All right? What do you think his totals were from three for his whole career? He shot 603 threes, man. He hit 260 of them. All right, then you're like, well, what about Kyle Korver? Now, he's had an interesting career. Good old Kyle Korver. They call him Threesis, Machine Gun. He's averaged 4.6 3-point attempts per game with 2 makes for his career, 43.1%, which is excellent. But he has many seasons where he didn't shoot over 40% from 3. All right, he did have one season where he shot 53.6% from 3. That is absurd. That was in 2009-10 with Utah. 53.6% from 3. 1.1 makes on 2.1 attempts. That's insane. He also shot 49.2% with Atlanta in his All-Star year, 2014-15. That was a hell of a performance there as well. But let me ask you something. Was Kyle Korver the number one option on any of the teams he's been on? No. Didn't happen. He wasn't that guy. Okay? And in fact, some people probably want to slap me for even bringing up Kyle Korver in this kind of talk, because the man he's still playing, Simmons. The man is a specialist, and he shot 48.5% from 3 last year, which is ungodly. He's an amazing shooter, one of the best ever. But for the purposes of this discussion, I'm going to eliminate these role players. Okay? Steve Kerr, Tim Legler. Now, admittedly, Korver, he played role player in parts of his career. Other parts, he was more featured. You know, he was in Atlanta. You know, it seemed like they revolved the offense around him sometimes. But he didn't do it for his whole career. And even if you just go strictly on percentage, he doesn't shoot a better career 3-point percentage than Steph. Steph's at 43.6, and Kyle is at 43.1. And he shot less threes per game than Steph. Steph's at 7.8. He's at 4.6. So Steph wins anyway. All right? God, it really sounds like I'm a Steph. It sounds like I'm like a huge Steph fanboy. I'm not. I'm really not. I appreciate his game. I don't even think he's like, some people say he's like the second best player in the league. I don't think that. Okay? I don't think that. But I'm looking at the stats, and do the stats get me hot and bothered and send me to a blissful place? Of course. Do I daydream about Steph Curry rainbow 3-point shots? Yeah, I do. What of it? Don't judge me, man. Hey, asshole. Hey, don't judge me. Okay? All right? And Tim Legler, no. Don't even try to convince me of that. And just Jason Capono, how dare you? Okay? First of all, how dare you? He doesn't shoot a better percentage than Steph for his career. He's 43.4. Also, the man was a role player, okay? He had some great shooting seasons, but the poor guy fell off a cliff. And I think that's kind of why he's out of the league now, is because he was a great 3-point shooter. He was a specialist. There's probably a lot of reasons why he's out of the league, but he kind of fell off a cliff after the 2008-2009 season. He shot 36.8, which is fine, but then 12.5. Oh, God. And then 29.6. 12.5% from 3. His second to last year in the league. But, you know, in his heyday, he was 51.4. I think he won the 3-point contest one year. 48.3 with Toronto. And that season with Miami, 2006-07, 51.4% is amazing. Are you really... How long are you going to talk about Jason Capono, dude? Forever. No, Jason Capono conversation is done. Done talking about him. Who else? Wesley Person. He could shoot. You know, he averaged 3.8 3-pointer attempts per game. He made 1.6 of them. Excellent. 41.8% from 3. He played for my Suns. He played for that 94-95 Suns team. That was a lot of fun. He shot 43.6%. But, he had up and down years. He was a great three-point shooter. Don't get me wrong. He was a specialist, role player. You can't include him with Steph Curry. Okay? B.J. Armstrong was not a role player, really. He was kind of like, like the third or fourth option, I guess, at his best. But, I take it back. He kind of became a role player. He's a career 42.5 3-point percentage guy. 1.4 attempts average for his career. Nope. Sorry, BJ. Not gonna do it. No, can't include you there. Sorry, buddy. Kevin Durant, a great 3-point shooter for a size too. Because he's a career 38.4% 3-point shooter, guys. No. He's a great especially this year, 43.1%. He's on fire this year from three. He's on if he can get his free throw percentage up, he's at 88.1 right now. He has a chance for 50, 40, 90. He's shooting 52.4% from two and 43.1, as I said, from three and 88.1 from free throw. And he's averaging 25 points a game and he's getting almost 2 blocks a game. He's having a hell of a year. He could be one of the greatest shooters of all time. And we'll get to him in the shooters pod. Dirk Nowitzki? I hear you guys. I hear you all the way from Dallas. Dirk! Oh, Dirk! Oh! I love Dirk, okay? I love Dirk. I am a Dirk fanboy through and through. Okay? And he's had some spectacular 3-point shooting seasons, including this year, his best of all time. He's shooting 43.9% from three. But folks, he's a 38.4 career 3-point percentage shooter. No. Is he he's the greatest 7-foot shooter of all time? Probably, yeah. Even though isn't Durant like 7 feet? Yeah, I don't know. Lauri Markkanen is better than Dirk. He's gonna be better than Dirk. No, I don't think so, man. Have you looked at Dirk's stats? And we're gonna get into Dirk, okay? When we do the Dirk pod, his stats are, oh god, Karl Malone-esque in their consistency for a long period of time, from 2000, 2001, all the way to 2011, 2012. He's over 21 points a game. Okay, we're not going to get into that right now. Sorry, Dirk. Steph's better. Steph's better 3-point shooter than Dirk. Craig Hodges? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Hey, get out of here. That's a little harsh. Okay, he was an even 40% 3-point shooter for his career on 2 attempts. He had some great seasons shooting. In the 1987-88 season with Milwaukee and Phoenix, he combined to shoot 49.1% from three. Amazing. He had another season with Milwaukee in 85-86 where he shot 45.1. He had some great shooting seasons with the Bulls. I think he won the 3-point shooting contest one year. Shot 48.1 in 89-90. Excuse me. Great shooter, but role player. He is not worthy. Sorry, Craig. You're an amazing shooter, but you're not better than Steph. Okay? Yeah, Pete Maravich. If they had the 3-point line, as I said, that one year they had it. He only took 15 threes. He made a shitload of them. 66.7%. But that was a very small sample size. We can't include him in there. Drazen, Petrovic, same thing. Not enough of a sample size. So sad. If you don't know about Drazen Petrovic, I think that's how you say his name, and I apologize if I'm messing it up. He's a great player. I wish I could have seen him play more. I was a youngin', and I was kind of zeroed in on my certain players and teams, and totally missed him. He's a great shooter, just in general. career 50% shooter, 50.6% shooter, and a career 37.7% from three shooter. But he didn't shoot a ton per game, and it's just too, short career. But he was on the upswing. His last 2 years before he passed away prematurely, 20.6 points a game and then 22.3. Drazen, what could have been? Man, they called him the Mozart of hoops. Look up some highlights of Drazen. He really was smooth as silk. That mid-range J was always open for Drazen. He was money. Folks, the only players that I think can give Steph a run for their money are Steve Nash and a guy who's on his team right now, his fellow Splash brother, Klay Thompson, otherwise known as Big Smokey. Now, first, let's talk about Steve Nash. Okay? Yes, I just included Steve Nash because I'm a huge fan. Steve Nash has 4 50, 40, 90 seasons, and we'll get into the 50, 40, 90 seasons, all the different players when we do the 50, 40, 90 podcast, and it's going to be a joy. I'm going to cry during it. I'm going to get aroused. Every emotion I can possibly feel, I will feel. I will get to a higher place. I will be on cloud 9 the whole time, and it's going to be fantastic. But Steve is one of the most underrated three-point shooters of all time. He's a career 42.8 three-point percentage shooter. He averaged 3.2 attempts, 1.4 makes for his career. Let's see. He only had 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons where he shot under 40% from three, which is kind of amazing as a point guard. His best season was in 07-08, where he shot 47%. I can't really say. I mean, there's no way he's better than Steph. I mean, why did they even bring him up? It was stupid of me. But those Lakers years. I mean, why did he leave Phoenix like that? He had to leave Phoenix, no, but why did he go to the Lakers? You know how much more I would love Steve Nash, and I'm a huge fan. But do you know how much I would love him if he never went to the Lakers? The sworn enemy of Planet Orange, Kobe. He joined forces with Kobe. God, Steve, come on! I'm still mad. Why did you do it? Steve, why did you do that? Huh? Why did you go play with Kobe, Steve? Why did you do it? Why? He could have gone to Toronto. He could have been the mayor of Toronto. He could have made more money. I think he wanted to be close to his kids, which is very noble. It's cool. He's a great guy. I'm not hating. I'm just disappointed. Okay? But he was a great shooter from three. He was famous for pulling up. His team was kind of getting behind a little bit. He'd pull up on the fast break for that, top of the key, three-pointer. Great shooter off the dribble. Underrated shooter. Just a great shooter in general, all around the court. You want to look at his 2-point percentages? We'll get into that when we get into this Steve Nash pod. Another podcast where I'm going to go to a higher place. I might be high for that. I might just get high and just, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. And if I do that, then I'll just cry the whole time. Listen, okay? Steve Nash, great shooter. He's not as good as Steph, okay? I got to admit that. If I'm going to say Ray Allen's not as good, if I'm going to say Kyle Korver's not as good, even though Kyle Korver was never a number one option, Steve was like the number one, number two option. I mean, he could have scored a lot more. He didn't. Listen, I shut up. Save it for the Steve Nash pod. Okay, I will. Now, Big Smokey. Here comes Big Smokey. What you gonna do? Here comes Big Smokey, you better run for the hills. It's my little Big Smokey song. It's pretty bad. 42.2% three-point shooter for his career on 6.9 attempts and 2.9 makes. Average 42.2%. Now, you're probably like, dude, Steph Curry shot a better percentage career-wise. I know. Okay? I know he did. 43.6. I know. I get it. Okay? But just in terms of like three-point shooting, the textbook form that Klay exhibits, he really does have a textbook shot. This year, he's shooting 44.9% from three. Let's put it this way. I guess if you look at the stats and the percentages, he's not better than Steph now. But there's a chance that he will be better by the time both their careers are finished. There is a chance. Okay? And he's never shot below 40%. He came very close the second year where he shot 40.1. But Klay Thompson is one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. Okay? Now, if you want to go down the list, just straight shooting, role players and all. I didn't talk about Hubert Davis. That guy could shoot the ball. A career 44.1% three-point shooter. But he was a role player. He was a specialist. So let's just go down the list, okay? Steve Kerr, 45.4. This is NBA and ABA. But I think the top 10 is all NBA. I'll do the top 15, okay? Really fast. Hubert Davis, 44.0. Drazen, 43.7%. Steph Curry, 43.6. Jason Capono, 43.3. Tim Legler, 43.1. Kyle Korver, 43.1. Steve Novak. What? 43.0. That guy can't even get on the court these days. He can shoot, though. Steve Nash, 42.7. BJ Armstrong, 42.5. Klay Thompson, 42.2. Wesley Person, 41.7. Then you have Anthony Morrow, Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles can shoot, man. Ooh. CJ McCollum, underrated three-point shooter. And he shoots at a volume, too. He shot 5.9 threes this year a game. He's an underrated three-point shooter for sure. A career 41.5 three-point shooter. CJ McCollum. Only 5 years in the league. We have some great young players. Man. But there it is. That's my case for Steph Curry being the greatest three-point shooter of all time. He's high up on the list. The first three guys, Steve Kerr, Hubert Davis, Drazen. Drazen didn't had his career sadly cut short, and Hubert Davis and Steve Kerr were both role players. So, it could have been easier just to be like, in some ways, I just wasted a bunch of your time. But I just wanted to get into some of these myths, like Larry Bird is not the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Okay, would he have been if he was in this era? We'll never know. He did have a quick trigger. He had that shoulder cannon release, get it off super fast, but Steph Curry shoots a lot of his threes with a quick trigger as well. It's not like he's spending 2 seconds getting his feet set and loading up that three, in the chamber. It's lightning fast. I've never seen a faster release, honestly. Larry definitely had a fast release, but just saying, folks. But it's great that he's still playing. He's a joy to watch. And I hope he doesn't get hurt. He hasn't been hurt recently that much, here and there in the playoffs. I think, was it last year? The year before? I don't know. He got a little banged up. I think it was the year before. But maybe last year too. But man, the Warriors are fun to watch. They definitely are stacked. Great shooting team. The 3-point shooting percentages are just they're out of this world. Did you know that the Golden State Warriors this year, 2017-18, are shooting almost 40% from three as a team? 39.8% shooting, 3-point shooting as a team. The Golden State Warriors. It's insane. But it's not even the greatest of all time. I'm looking at the highest 3-point field goal percentages, obviously since 1979-80 for a season. Charlotte Hornets, 96-97, 42.76% from three. And then the Warriors, 2015-16, were 41.5% from three. And then my Suns, 2009-10, 41.2% from three. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But hey, thank you so much for listening. Do me a favor. Check us out on TuneIn, Google Play, rate us, Stitcher, iTunes. We're on Twitter, tweeting random things. Hit us up. Having a ball doing this. Spread the word. Gaudy Stats. We're doing the damn thing. Hey, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. Hey, thank you, man. Also, yeah, check us out on YouTube. We're doing some things on YouTube. The guy had a great comment on YouTube. He was talking about the Boban pod we did, and he had some stats for me. He said Boban played the 2014-15 season 30 to 35 minutes per game for Red Star Belgrade in EuroLeague and was second in MVP ratings that year. So he can play 25 minutes per game, no problem. That's what I was asking. I was like, can this man play 20, 25 minutes a game? I know he's a galoot, but come on. Well, actually, he said he said it was 27.3 minutes, but you know, it's pretty good for it's a lot of minutes for a big man. Many links to some highlights from EuroLeague 2014-15. I recommend you watch it. It's incredible. Okay, it's called Boban Marjanovic Highlights EuroLeague 2014-15. I'll tweet it out if you're interested. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. See you next time. Okay, gotta go. Bye. See ya.